Welcome to WPForms Africa. So this is a continuation of the series which we began 2 weeks ago, where we will be exploring everything touching WPForms. And now you can make the most out of WPForms as well as to win and compete for your business. So for today, we're going to explore one of the fields that is a must-have called the font field. So for this, I'm going to create a form. Then I'm going to name it the font field. Then I'll choose the blank form template. Now to add the font field, what you're supposed to do is to come right here. Then under the fancy field, you'll see the font field. Or an easier way is to just search for font. So you'll see this. So the font field in WP Forms has 3 formats. So the first format is the US, or rather is the smart format. That is the default. We have the US format and we have the international format. So for the smart format, it will default to the user's location based on their IP address. For the US format is mostly used by the US and the international format. So I'm going to demonstrate each. So I'll begin with the smart format. So as soon as I save and preview, you'll notice that it is not showing, or rather it's not defaulting to my location, which is Kenya. The reason why it's happening is because by default, if the GDPR is enabled in the WPForms settings, the user's IP will not be captured. So meaning it will not show. So in order to show that, what you're supposed to do is to head over to go to the dashboard. Once you're in the dashboard, go to WPForms, then go to settings. From the settings page, you'll see the GDPR elements. What you're supposed to do is to toggle this option, then you're going to save it. As soon as you do that, then you come back to our form, then you're going to preview. You'll notice now it defaults to Kenya, meaning it will make it easier for your users when they are filling in your form. And when to use the font format is when you have a form that accepts submission from any country. So if a user is from Kenya, it will default to the Kenyan flag because that is the default code. If the user is from Uganda, it will default to Uganda. If the user is from Nigeria, if the user is from South Africa or any country, it will default to that country. The next format that I'm going to look into is the international format. So for the international format, what it will do, it will store in the international format. For example, if I use this phone number, then I say submit that phone. After submitting, then I'm going to view that entry, then view the entry. So this is actually the phone number. However, if we're using the smart format, what the smart format will do, it will handle the validation for us. So if I choose a random Kenyan phone number, then I submit, then I go back right here, then you'll notice that it says with the country code. So plus 254, then 712, then 345 678. So that is how it does. So one of the things that I'd wanted also to mention that is what looking into is this, that the IP, if the IP address is turned off, if the GDPR settings is enabled, which you've already seen that. So for this, if you'd like to prefer a specific phone number for all the users, you can use the US format or the international format. So the US format would require this format. That is the format the user would require. And this is what we mentioned, that the font field only accepts the numeric input. So preventing numbers or special characters, we have a simple code snippet that I'm going to add that it will show you. So to do that, I've already opened that. Then you scroll down right here. Then you'll see that what you're supposed to do, you'll need to add a class to the font field. Whenever a font field with a class is used, it only accepts that. So what you're supposed to do is to go to advanced, then copy this here, class. So I'm going to do that. Just click on this, then go to advanced, then classes, do that, save it. Then the next thing that I'm supposed to do is to copy this code. So there's an easiest way to add WP forms. You can do through the WP code plugin, or you can do through the functions.php over child theme. So for me, I'm going to add through the functions.php. So to do that, I'll just head over to tools, then theme, then I'll go there, then to the very bottom, then paste that JavaScript code. After doing that, I'm going to reload this. As soon as I reload, you'll see that I'll not be able to input anything that is not a number. So that is actually how it works. So the best places to use the smartphone field is actually when you are accepting any application on your site. And one of the things that does the trick is marking it as required. So you're supposed to go to the general settings, then advanced. No, general settings, scroll down to this, then you mark as required. What this will do is that every user that comes to your site, they will be supposed now to fill or complete the form before submitting the form. As you can see, this is actually required. And as mentioned last week, for validation messages, you should be able to go to WPForms Settings, then go to validation. Then you can be able to change that this field is required. So that is it for the phone field in WPForms. So if you have any question about it, feel free to leave a comment in this video below. I'll be glad to answer any question. So see you next week, where we'll be exploring other features in WPForms. Thank you.